In case we are saving the cost at one point, so definitely there are the chances or major chances to lose the cost. That's why we have to make a proper analysis. And during different sessions, definitely that conference and the persons, and you may be discussing all these issues. And I believe, I hope that conference will give definite workable solutions. And thank you.
Thank you, Shri Neeraj Kumar, for your inspiring speech. And it's time to hear keynote address from Mr. Soti Selvam D, DG Indian Chemical Council. Please help me in welcoming Mr. Soti Selvam on stage with thunderous applause.
Good morning to everyone here. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Mr. Neeraj Kumar, Deputy Director General of DGCA, Mr. Ronak Shah, Executive Director from VTrans, Mr. Srinivas Rao Nandigam from Sun Pharma, Mr. Harish Lade, Vice President, Supply Chain, and also the board member of Asian Paints Bangladesh, distinguished delegates, and friends. It's indeed a great pleasure to participate in CHEMLOG India 2025. This is my third appearance in the last 10 editions. At the outset, I think I should definitely compliment Mr. Sharath for taking an important initiative like this for the last 10 years. This is for many, it may look a niche segment, but the segment which Sharath is focusing on is a very important segment, the chemical segment, which touches every part of manufacturing. 95% of the manufactured goods depend on chemistry, chemicals. So obviously, he has definitely taken a very important segment to work on. Mr. Manish, sorry, I missed your name. Mr. Manish mentioned about the logistics cost to GDP, which was 14%, now it's been brought down. It's really a good news. And India, to become very competitive, obviously the logistics cost should come down. That comes by various ways: efficient mode of transportation, rail, road, various, having multimodal logistics. Many areas are there to bring down the cost. So I'm sure India is working on that. So there are many reports also. So why I'm here? Firstly, I'm here because I represent the chemical and petrochemical industry. I represent ICC, which is representing this particular segment of the economy. This is a significant portion of the Indian economy, which also drives many other sectors. I'm also here because Indian Chemical Council believes in responsible growth and sustainable growth. I think it very much aligns with what CHEMLOG is doing. The third most important reason as to why I'm here is we are driving one of the most important initiatives in India, which is the nicer globe. I'll come to it a little later. This initiative is based on a digital platform providing remote emergency support as well as on-site emergency support to the industry. Many chemical companies who believe in sustainability, who believe in safe transportation, have already become members of Nicer Globe, and they're enjoying it. I will not say enjoying it, they're making use of it. So I have structured my speech into 3-4 areas, which I shared with Mr. Manish. First, let me give an idea to you about the chemical industry globally and in India. And then I move on to the logistics. Of course, experts are there to speak on logistics. So let me restrict my inputs or whatever I know about chemical logistics. But as an industry body, which plays different roles, right from advocacy to education, we are touching all the aspects of the chemical industry. It's not just restricted to trade or production. We concentrate a lot on every other areas. In fact, we are the nodal agency for the responsible care in India. Anyway, I'll come to that later. First, let me get into, I'm like share with you some authentic numbers. I'm using the word authentic because it's not derived from some market research or something. Someone is collecting this information, so I am going to share those information. Now, the global chemical, when we say the chemical industry, generally it is also, there's a lot of connectivity with the pharma industry. Many of the chemical intermediates go into the pharma sector. So, when we look at it in a macro level, the global pharma and chemical are seen together also. So, the size of the global chemical and pharma market is currently at about $8 trillion US. $8 trillion US, it's quite a big number. It is an area of concern that this growth, which used to be very high in the past, has reduced a bit. It used to be probably 3 years back, it used to be in the range of 2 digits. Now it's come down to single digit. Now coming to the chemical market. So I'm removing the pharma. I'm only talking now about the chemical market. The size is about $5.8 trillion US. This is the global chemical market. Now, what is the growth in the last year, 2024? 2024, I'm talking calendar year. So we are in the calendar year 2025 in November. We grew only by 0.53%. The global chemical trade has grown only by 0.53% compared to 23.5% 2 years back. So that impact must be felt in every other sector as well. Now, what is India? India's size is $233 billion US. We are talking trillion, now we are talking in billions. 233, 235, the numbers could be slightly varying, but it's about 233 billion US. And our growth has been, I would say, it's not drastically come down, or we have not been doing with a steep growth in the past. It's been steadily growing. Now, when it comes to chemical consumption, globally, if you compare the various geographies, important geographies, the European Union is a very important area geographically. That's about $670 billion US, which represents 11.5% of the global chemical consumption. China, many of us talk about China. China has become a narrative everywhere. I was also discussing with my friend in Asian Paints that lot of discussions go around China, but what is the real China story? If you dig numbers only, you will come to know. The consumption of global chemicals in China is 44.7%. Many of us think that China is making for the world. They're just pushing it outside. It's not so. China's per capita consumption is quite high. Yeah, 140 crore population is consuming huge quantities of chemicals. What is the consumption? 2601 billion US. That is about 2.6 trillion out of 5.7 trillion global consumption. US is about 12%. India is at the level of 3.5%, which is 197. At 233, when I speak, that 233 or 235 includes pharma. So in terms of only chemical trade, India is at 197. Now let's come to chemical exports. There again, this is the biggest topic. Everyone says China is dumping everywhere. Yes, China is supplying to the world, no doubt about it. But in terms of value, who is doing it? The global chemical exports is about 1811 billion US, 1.8 trillion. European Union, EU 27 nations, they are the biggest exporters, 692 billion US, which represents 38.2% of the global exports. China is not the global exporter, biggest exporter. Their export is 242 billion, which represents 13.4% of the global exports. US is also exporting 9.4. Even India is also exporting 2.4% of the global trade. Now coming to imports, of course, every country imports for various reasons. So I don't want to touch much on the imports. US is importing, China is importing, India is also importing. In fact, India is importing more than what it is exporting. Now coming to chemical exports, now what do they export? If you talk, I'm the world, if you talk 18, I told you the number 1811, 1.8 trillion is the global exports. It is divided into basic inorganics, petrochemicals, polymers. Again, petrochemicals are converted into polymers, right? Most of the petrochemicals are converted to polymers. Specialties and fine chemicals, and finally consumer chemicals. Now, European Union exports 26% of basic inorganics, 36% of petrochemicals, 33% of polymers, 44% is of percentage of specialty and fine chemicals, and about 5.2% of consumer chemicals. I'm sorry, 51.2% of consumer chemicals. Now, compared to this, China is exporting about 16.3% of basic inorganics, 14.2% of petrochemicals, 12.6% of polymers, 15.2% of specialty and fine, and finally 6.4% of consumer chemicals. Why I'm reading out these numbers is that Chinese exports are definitely hitting us, no doubt about it, India, basically in form of imports. But at the macro level, the biggest exporters are not China. They make a lot, they make in scale, they consume a lot. That's the most important thing. Where India lags is, where a country like India or Brazil lags is our per capita consumption. The per capita consumption would only go, I think Mr. Manish touched upon that point about the per capita consumption, per capita income. The per capita income, when it goes up, per capita consumption would also go up. Now let me now touch upon the Indian chemical and pharmaceutical industry. As I said, the Indian chemical and pharmaceutical industry put together is $233 billion US dollars. It includes pharma. 18.6% is inorganic basic chemicals, 12.5% is petrochemicals, polymers is about 11%, fine and specialty is a very good number, nearly 22%, detergents and personal care, consumer chemicals is about 7.5%, pharma is at 29.3%. Often you hear the word, India is the pharmacy of the world, in terms of volume, not in terms of value. We make generic drugs, we import APIs from China, we export it, most of it is generic. In terms of volume, we are probably number 3, number 4 in the world, but in terms of value, we are not. We are somewhere below 10. India is the 5th largest producer right now in the world as far as chemicals is concerned, when it comes to production. In Asia, we are 3rd next to China and Japan. Japan is very close. We can beat them very shortly. We are going nicely. When it comes to consumption, India is the 4th largest consumer, and we hold a 3% global share. Of course, the growth momentum is a bit weak in the recent past, especially last 2 years, but we see signs of recovery. There were various reasons given by various industries, right from destocking to general world trade going down and all that, so I don't want to deal much with all this up. But the point is, the per capita consumption of chemicals, I'm only now confining to chemicals, US is 2886 US dollars. Japan is 2295 US dollars. China is 1831 US dollars compared to India, which is at 341 US dollars. This is the per capita consumption of chemicals. What does it mean? It means there's a huge growth potential in India. It is not only for chemicals, it's for every segment. The same story lies. So the government is definitely working towards, they're trying their level best. But you know, the geopolitically, you are being sandwiched between various big economies. I should not say we are sandwiched, I'll stop at that. I don't want to elaborate. But one thing is there, a lot of debottlenecking is required to be done in various areas. Government is definitely doing it, and we are bound to grow, we will grow. As I said, our growth has been quite steady. Now, European Union countries, the nations are shouting. There's big gloom in Europe. That's because they've been growing not only in 2 digits, huge numbers they've been growing in the past. But suddenly the growth has come down. For example, the European Union is negative in chemicals. They're positive in pharma, they're negative in chemicals. So no doubt that they'll be worried. In fact, recently we happened to be in Berlin for a conference. Absolute gloom everywhere. In terms of volumes, they're maintaining the volume, but in terms of bottom line, top line also is hit, of course. So, but I don't know. But now we are undergoing trade war. Various things are happening. But let me come to only India. There are quite a lot of positives for India. First thing is rising household income. Per capita income will go up. Is going up. In fact, as per the Niti Aayog study, it is expected to touch 3,500 in a couple of years. So let's go for the best to happen. We have worked very closely with Niti Aayog in developing the policy initiatives for the chemical and petrochemical industry. It is available in the public domain. You can pick it up from the Niti Aayog website itself. Actually, a couple of years back, we came with a perspective vision plan for the chemical industry. There was one for the petrochemical industry, which is compact because the number of players, number of products are limited. But in the case of chemical industry, the number of products are many. The chemistry is like that. There's no industry where the number of products will be 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh like that. We talk of 80,000 numbers. You go to US talks about 5 lakh numbers. You go to the automobile industry, can you talk in terms of models also so many numbers? No. In the case of petrochemical also, number of petrochemicals can be counted, number of polymers can be counted. But chemicals is such a complex subject that the number of chemicals are very, very large. At least in India, we talk of 80,000 numbers. So the government when we worked out on the perspective vision plan, we worked with McKinsey. Then McKinsey created a white paper, which is also there in the public domain. You can see it. And then subsequently, we and Niti Aayog, along with other industry associations, worked with Niti Aayog. We created a paper, an implementation paper. As I said, you can always go and refer in the Niti Aayog website itself. Quite a lot of next stage, from recommendation to implementation. Now, the ministries are working, DPIIT is working, DCPC is working. What are they doing? They focused on some areas like creating chemical parks. You all must have heard about the PCPARs. PCPARs depended on an anchor tenant, a refinery, which will produce feedstocks for the petrochemicals. But for various reasons, that didn't take off in the way we wanted it. Now we are going with chemical parks of different types. In infrastructure in ports, storage facilities in ports, subsidy for OPEX, ease of doing business, fast-tracking the environment clearances, favorable FTAs. Now the India-US FTA, now you all must have seen, so much of pressure is being put by Mr. Trump. We all know about that. I don't think we wielded just like that, even though Mr. Trump is making a lot of remarks every day that the FTA is already completed or whatever he wanted has been done. But India is quite strong. We are very clear about what we want. So we are working on favorable FTAs. It's not only with US, with the European Union we are working. So Indian Chemical Council is playing an important role there. Talent and skill upgradation. And finally, most important thing is for innovation. Now there's a big innovation fund coming up. The fine prints, the finer details will soon be coming. Because chemical industry is a knowledge-based industry. So we require innovation. Now how European chemical companies are making so much of volumes, so much of turnover, and so much of profit, it's all based on innovation. In fact, in the Berlin conference which we attended, the Chancellor of Germany was there. I was just counting, 12 times used the word innovation, 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 innovation. So that is what is probably lacking in our country, probably. We need to definitely do much more than that. In fact, many people blame China for imitation. Okay, sophisticatedly you can put it as reverse engineering. Okay, there's nothing wrong in that. Now they're taking imitation to innovation. Actually, they've taken the step, maybe they've taken some technologies, they've copied some technologies, but they've improved upon it. Now every day you must be hearing on every field, so much is being talked about China. Now I'm not saying I'm a supporter of China. Please don't think by saying all this I'm a supporter of China. I'm not. But wherever it is, good things have to be learnt. So that's my point about the statistics side. As I said, I don't want to, because there are experts here to talk about chemical logistics. So only a few numbers about the global logistics. When we say logistics, immediately people confuse with supply chain. Supply chain is a broader thing. Logistics is a portion of the supply chain. Now, within the logistics, there are several components, right from transportation to packaging to storage, etc. The global logistics market is, chemical logistics, is estimated to be about 230 billion US dollars global. And it is expected to touch a mark of 400 billion in another 5 to 6 years' time. Since right now the market is little gloomy, the growth rate in the case of logistics also is going to be around 4%. Am I taking a lot of time? Okay, let me, yeah. So I think I will skip all the stuff which I wanted to talk about, the logistics basically, but I would like to stress on only the one important initiative of ICC, which is Nicer Globe. So this is a very important initiative which we have been running in the last nearly about 12 years. We started in 2013. And what it does is, for the logistics, chemical logistics, we are providing the remote emergency support through a digital platform. And also we provide the on-site emergency support by keeping people. So which means any emergency on the road, at this point of time, it is confined to the road transportation. So we are there. So it's my fervent appeal to all the chemical industry people to just have a look at what it is. Definitely you will find it appealing. So it will be good for the industry to adopt safe and sustainable practices. So Nicer Globe is an important thing for this. So I wanted to talk a lot about logistics also, but because of paucity of time, let me stop with this. I wish the function all the success. It's a great initiative. And I wish Sharath does more of these programs and benefit the chemical and petrochemical industry in India. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Let's applaud for the speaker, Mr. Sothi Selvam D. Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening remarks.
Hello.
And now I would like to call upon Mr. Manish Panchal for taking the proceedings forward. Let's applaud for Mr. Manish.
Thank you, Shruti. So I think we had a wonderful context setting and insights from the industry leaders, from the regulators, and I won't call regulators, supporting agencies like DGCA, because today government is no more just playing a role of क्या नहीं कर सकते लेकिन क्या और कर सकते हैं is what I have personally been seeing it, the transition being involved in a couple of national level policy making committees. So I think Srini, I hope you are okay, I call you Srini? Yeah, fantastic. So Srini has to rush, so my first two questions will be to him. I hope the other panelists are okay with it because he has very important engagement.
Yeah, I have a hard stop, so I would love to kind of answer if there are any specific questions. Yeah.
लेकिन DGCA साहब इधर है तो शायद वो
No, I'll connect with both of them separately.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Okay, so Srini, over to you on two questions I have. I'll fire one after the other. First one, Sun Pharma being a leader in pharmaceutical industry, in this tariff war and stuff around that, how have you taken this in stride and what is your view on how long this will continue? I'm referring to the current challenges for the industry.
It's a very important question and very contextual at this point in time. Mr. Selvam also mentioned about actually the various geopolitical pressures, etc. And also we being known as the pharmacy of the world, he rightfully mentioned that our volume of pharmaceuticals is, exports is close to, let's say, 20% plus of the global exports. But the value is very little. Just to set the context in terms of number, India is roughly, let's say, about $60 billion pharmaceutical world, 30 domestic consumption, and 30 exports. Globally, it is $2.2 trillion. Yeah. So we are